Hey boys and girls, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. Today, we're taking a look at the 1982 and 1983 versions of Steeler from G.I. Joe, a real American hero. Steeler is the G.I. Joe Tank Commander. He came packaged with the MOBAT Tank. He was released in a straight arm version in 1982, and later with swivel arm battle grip in 1983. The 1982 version is referred to as version 1, while the 1983 version is referred to as Steeler version 1.5. With the 1982 and 1983 G.I. Joe toy line, part reuse was very common. Many of the characters shared the same head molds, or chest molds, or leg molds. This was a way of keeping costs low, but still being able to offer a variety of characters. And Steeler, while sharing some parts of other characters, also has a fair amount of unique parts. He's actually a pretty unique character considering the fact that he's the only vehicle driver to come with accessories beyond a helmet, and he has several unique parts. Steeler shares his head with Flash, Hawk, and Short Fuse, Flash having brown hair and the other two with blonde. His chest is unique to Steeler alone, which is kind of cool and makes him stand out in a pack of 82-83 figures. His arms were unique at first, but later reused for Wild Bill. And then his legs are shared by several of the figures from the early lineup, including Breaker, Rock and Roll, and Clutch. Steeler features some gold paint on his undershirt, the handle to his revolver on his chest there, as well as stripes on his arms. They're easier to see on my straight arm sample than on my swivel arm. It's right above the cut line there, and it just sort of blends in a little bit more on this figure. The paint is less noticeable. But there. Steeler, Stalker, and Snake Eyes are the only figures in the original line to feature gloves, and Steeler also shares his machine gun accessory with Snake Eyes. Like most of the original Joes, Steeler comes with a generic military helmet with small holes on the side. Pegged into that is a special visor that came uniquely with Steeler. It can be flipped down over his eyes. This visor has had a bunch of different functions in media and other documentation for G.I. Joes. It could be like binoculars or an infrared scope. Perhaps has the ability to take photographs or store images, things like that. It kind of is a, you know, whatever we need Steeler to be able to do, that visor can do for him. With targeting the MOBAT cannons and all the other duties he has as a tank commander. Steeler is one of the last 82/83 Joes to find his way into my collection. I don't know why he's hard to find, because there's a ton of MOBATs out there. I find MOBATs all the time at toy shows and flea markets and things like that, but I see way less Steelers. I'm not saying Steeler's impossible to find, but he's one of the figures that's harder to come across from the original lineup. Steeler's real name is Ralph W. Pulaski. His primary military specialty is armor, while his secondary military specialty is artillery transportation. His birthplace is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my home state. One of the reasons I always liked Steeler as a kid. And to this day, I still would really like to make a Steeler custom figure where he's wearing a Terry Bradshaw jersey. Sort of a nod to Bazooka and his New England Patriots jersey that he wears. I always thought it'd be great to have Steeler wearing a jersey from the team he takes his name from. According to Steeler's file card, he comes from a blue-collar, middle-class family and put himself through college on an ROTC scholarship. Young and reckless, often clashes with authority, but he's one tough soldier, is the little quote at the bottom of his file card. I always assume those come from Hawk. Steeler and his motorized battle tank got a lot of time in the original G.I. Joe comics, as well as the early days of the G.I. Joe cartoon, but he was quickly forgotten as bigger and better tanks and other interesting drivers came out into the line. Steeler really went for a very long time before ever seeing another release. And it wasn't until after the end of the G.I. Joe line in 1994 that we would eventually see another version of Steeler. Thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. Make sure to like, subscribe, and in the comments down below, let me know who your favorite G.I. Joe action figure is.